Okay, we're live.
We're live
We are
for the first time.
for the first time indeed. Um,
Be
so
gentle.
I I plan on not being because we actually, well, earlier this week I set up that little keep sheet of
Yes.
topics we can discuss, which was very handy because every time I came back to it, there was new things in it. Which
Yeah.
I was like, shit, we're actually taking this seriously. But then this morning when I looked at it again, I was like, what the hell happened? Did you start like are you environmentalist now or something?
No, I think it's a good subject because I mean at the end of the day we want to talk about cars and shit, right? This is what
Definitely.
this is what the topic is, and it is going to continue being on that podcast or whatever it's
Hmm.
called. So yeah, I was reading this article um, the other day, and since we like or love cars, I should say, it just seemed relevant to maybe discuss that topic.
Are we going to start there or what? I don't know. I'm a bit. It's to me, it's
So we're gonna
controversial.
start with a drink. And
Oh, okay.
actually, before we start anything, um, if you're gonna insist for this window to be that close to me, I'm gonna use the mask for my safety.
For your safety. That's right.
um,
Any STDs you've already got from me.
yeah, my computer doesn't need a virus. So yeah, so the topic that I read about was that during the situation, the pandemic and all of that, um, people have been looking at new ways to use transport and make it more efficient and blah blah blah. So um, yeah, governments have in the meantime done a few things like reward those who don't use a private car, subsidize bicycle sales by giving citizens vouchers, make public transit free forever, propose new car-free bridges, add bike racks to buses, make bike shares part of the public system, expand time-saving bus lanes, and resist the urge to make parking easier or free. So really like a real move, to transition, I guess, away from the private car, which I think is great.
As a petrol head, okay.
Yeah, there it
But
is.
I mean, for me, it's funny because ironically, last night I went to dinner with a friend of mine, and he was
How
actually
much did
talk.
he? How much did he cost?
well, well, dinner was actually less than $100, surprisingly. So, but yeah, I mean, it was funny because he's Dutch, so he was actually commenting that we were just in the cab, and there was bikes everywhere, like huge groups of like 10 or less people just riding around on bikes, and he's like, "Oh, it's really good to see." And obviously, I
He's
think
not your
some
friend anymore, obviously. Yes.
yeah, I opened the door and kicked him out. So no, but so he's Dutch, so he goes, "Oh, it's good to see," because in the Netherlands, it's normal there. It's almost like you learn to walk and then you learn to ride a bike, and you know, so there it's pretty normal. And I think probably for the benefit of people that don't actually know us, which is pretty much everyone, we live in very congested cities. So I live in Jakarta and you live in Bangkok.
Yeah, two
So
words.
yeah, so I mean, everything you're mentioning, I looked at it and went, it's a bit unusual for a car podcast to actually talk about this, but um, as opposed to fun stuff. But I think in a lot of other countries they're already doing it. I know Sydney, where I lived before, it was actually it's it's hard to explain Sydney. I mean, you live there as well.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
yeah.
it's not really set up for you know cycling.
Yeah, but that's where the bus lines up, and I mean that's I don't know. So originally I'm French. People are already probably heard it by now. The thing is, Paris is changing most lanes into bus lanes, and the bikes can use the bus lanes. So they're making it bikes friendly. And one of the things they did apparently during the pandemic is also, continue this trend of turning 2 lanes or 4 lanes road, let's say, into 2 lanes roads and having bus lanes instead. But no, the reason why I say it's a good thing is because actually, if anything, during the pandemic, reduced traffic was great to drive old cars. And then I watched a podcast from Matt Farah, the Smoking Tire, right?
Mm,
He's got great podcasts, and he was saying the same thing. We can drive our old cars because there's no traffic.
yeah,
I mean, I have an RX-7, and in the traffic of Bangkok, especially, it overheats, right? So when there's no one around, I can actually open it up and have a bit more fun.
yeah. I mean, fundamentally, I'm not against anything anything that they're proposing here. It's just, I think you can also look at the riots in France last year, where they raised the fuel prices to say, oh, we need to be more eco-friendly or whatever slant they wanted to put on it. But it completely ignored the fact that there's, a lot of people that commute great distances.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was kind of seen like a poor tax, you
I
know?
mean, yeah, when you look at it, I mean, France has, quite a good, I would say, public transport. It's 16 times smaller. The country of France is 16 times smaller than Australia. Yet you have twice as many kilometers of road.
Yeah,
Um, and the train system is also good and all of that. But I would say that in the rural areas, yeah, people need their cars.
yeah, definitely.
People
And
don't earn that much. That when you hike the price on diesel, especially because in France, I would estimate that it's probably 70% diesel cars. Um, yeah, that people just don't have the means to do that. So we have to, and the government has to understand that as well, and be a little bit more emphatic, I guess, with the population and their problems.
yeah, I mean, without going too deep into this topic, I mean, this could potentially take up the entire podcast, if anything. But,
Yeah.
I fundamentally don't have a problem. I mean, we're people that enjoy our hobby, and have the means to enjoy our hobby, whereas for lot of other people, driving is not necessarily a hobby. They don't even consider it a luxury; it's a
Nobody
necessity.
cares. Nobody cares. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah. So
necessity. So it's going from point A to point B, and
yeah,
and you know what? It's fine as well. I mean, that's what the car is essentially for initially. It just we see it a little bit differently because we just are kind of passionate about it. Like we like nice things.
yeah. Especially when they go fast.
Yeah,
But yeah, like I mean,
what you said.
like I said, fundamentally, I was a bit surprised by this topic. I'm like, I wasn't expecting to see something like this popping up. But I mean, these are things specifically happening in Bangkok, I imagine. So I mean, I think there it's a great idea. How far away is the airport? It's like
It's about 45 kilometers away
yeah, I
from
know,
center town. I mean,
yeah,
one of the centers of town, I should say, but yeah,
yeah.
45 k's.
But I mean, I remember one time, I think it was like the fourth time I went to Bangkok. I know it normally takes, but you put aside an hour of travel normally to get to the hotel, which is actually not too bad. But I remember there's times where it took me 4 hours to get from the airport
Well,
to,
where did I see this recently? I saw actually also the ranking of countries, with congestion. Actually, Indonesia it's cracking the top 10, but Paris and Rome and a few other cities are in front.
yeah, but I don't know what the metric is, how they measure that. I mean,
Yeah, they
you know,
use
they,
the people using Google Maps and directions and
yeah,
GPSs and that sort of thing. So maybe it's not they don't have a representative data there.
yeah. I mean, there's some way that they're measuring it, but I mean, for us here, as people are slowly starting to go back to work. The traffic is starting to pile up. But I mean, we've both been in traffic, and we remember that time we were trying to get you to the airport when you were here, and
I was dying for a piss as well. That was the
yeah,
problem.
and you were like, you were prepared to miss your flight to hang a piss.
Oh yeah. I was really. Well, yeah. I mean, come on. It's just actually that's probably the main thing, in our countries that you remember to do just before going onto a road trip, whatever
Yeah,
it may be, whether it's commuting or just enjoying. It's just you need to go first. You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
relieve yourself a little bit.
It can get very
Because
uncomfortable.
otherwise, yeah, it's really, really bad. Yeah, I remember that episode. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay. So
Find another flight.
I think we're on the same page there. I mean, I think fundamentally, or the thing that's going to really dictate whether how successful this is how accessible these programs are to just people in
Oh,
general.
I mean, again, public transport is a great thing. I think public transport is definitely something that needs to be developed, but usually it's developed in the large cities.
Mm,
I mean, it's exemplified in emerging economies we live in, that where the economy is really centralized. So, in Thailand, the government is making really good investment that I think we'll see we'll reap the benefits of in about 10 to 15 years. With new highways, new trains, so that's going to be great. But yeah, that takes time.
yeah, it does. I mean, I think our SkyTrain over here is delayed by like 2 years already.
Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah, the economy is going to do that. You go to Vietnam in Ho Chi Minh City. They just don't have any money anymore. So the Japanese came to build the metro, and the money somehow got spent, and they don't have any money. So they stopped the construction there, and that was even before that pandemic. So now I think essentially what we need to be doing is, and especially us as we're managing people and companies, um, is to really rethink the working at home situation, because
yeah,
that also helps with all of this. So
yeah,
we saw the benefits of this, and we breathe better, which is kind of a gift in Bangkok, to be able to breathe better. So yeah, less traffic. um, we need to be we need to be a bit more flexible in the way we do things, I think.
yeah. I agree with that.
Different times, not necessarily having to go to the office every day. I'm actually in my company installing now 2 days compulsory, 2 days per week in the office.
Hmm.
Well, they said 2 days is the bare minimum. What's compulsory is one of those 2 days has to be one day in particular, so that everybody is in the office, because you can't lose that
Yeah, yeah.
that intangible relationship building and team building that is being with each other.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I've always been a huge proponent of it becomes very difficult to work with, teams that you've actually never met.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like a study that came out ages. I think Microsoft actually did that study. And they found, every time they have a new project or whatever, most of the people are actually working remotely or in different countries. And the first thing they do is they get everyone on a plane and they meet each other, and then they obviously go back and start the projects remotely. But I mean, they found it just works so much better for running projects.
Yeah, and I think to come back to the cars and shit.
Mm.
Um, that means that there's going to be probably less and less cars, or that they're going to be auto driven or whatever the case may be. But I've already Grab changed quite a lot of things when it comes to public transport.
Yeah,
And I think that that will be to the benefit of people who like cars, because less congestion means we can enjoy the roads a bit more for the
mm.
people who do like to go on a road trip.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's why I actually see it as probably a plus. Again, coming back to what Matt Farah was saying, he said all my cars, and I think he's got a Countach or something like this.
Yeah,
That it's not that easy to drive, I'm guessing, or even from watching some of those videos of people owning it. Yeah, so basically he's able to enjoy his cars more, which is I think is great.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's the funny thing is
Motorcycles.
because of Matt Farah is why I've been looking around at Vespas.
You on a Vespa?
Yeah, well, he's
You
got
remind
a
me how tall you are.
yeah, I know I'm a big boy,
Yeah.
but he's got a GTS 300.
Amazingly, with a small dick. Not everything is proportionate, guys.
A word of warning for the women around.
This flavored water is working.
Yeah, I mean my healthy grape juice is certainly working wonders. What it's
Did you go to
actually
the gym this morning?
No, I haven't gone yet. I'll tell you why I haven't gone yet. Because I got drunk last night.
And you know
So
what? So did I.
yeah, and
I
so
was home by 10 p.m.
but I was really dusty, and then I'm just like, as soon as like we were going to start the podcast, I'm like, yes, time to get back to not feeling dusty. So
Well, have you been doing that? And guys, for anyone who watches or listens, basically, we're best friends. This is our catch up. We're going to do this on a weekly basis because we live in different countries. So
and we're
yeah,
not allowed to
anybody,
travel at the moment.
and we're not allowed to travel. So yeah, we're going to be continuing to do this for a while. We're a bit late actually to the trend of doing online stuff in a way. But yeah, anyway, regardless of all this, yeah.
Yeah, if
I don't.
nobody
I don't
watches,
even remember what I wanted to say. Nobody watches, or so everybody watches is basically the same. We're just
yeah,
gonna catch up, right? So
yeah, but it's fun, it gives us we're having fun around
a
catching up.
forum, a forum
Yeah,
to be criticized. So yes, just to come back on that 25 push-up for 25 days challenge to raise awareness for PTSD. I think PTSD is not, and I think people start to realize this, but I think it's important to have that message out there. PTSD is not, just let's say something that only military personnel can get. It can happen to anybody, and I would say that again, this crisis that we've lived, the very unique situation we're in many countries. Or even exiting for some countries. Anyway, just puts this into perspective, and that a lot of people. I mean, we need to be aware of PTSD because a lot of people will suffer from PTSD post this pandemic. I'm sure.
yeah, I'm sure. But let's
I
move on
mean,
to
I was actually in the public transports today, and I was thinking, what if I sneeze in front in the middle of everyone? Everybody will panic, and that's actually a form of PTSD. So we just
yeah.
need to, we need to recognize this. So yeah, that's why there's that 25 push-ups for 25 days challenge that I actually sent to you, and I haven't seen a video up yet.
Do I have to post videos, man?
Yeah, you have to post
You,
videos, and
you.
you have to nominate someone every day as well.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna go through my list and start nominating people.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, 25 people you have to nominate, so that's about 5 times your list.
yeah.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 2 people on my Facebook. But speaking about cars that drive themselves,
Yeah.
what do we think of this?
That's the first thing in that list, the Lexus van.
Yeah, the Lexus LM.
So actually, okay, depending again on who is going to be watching, but vans are a big thing in Southeast Asia, in Hong Kong, actually in Japan as well. I mean, in Asia in general, I guess, because yeah, a lot of people have drivers. So you don't drive that car, but you have like a senator seat at the back. It's like driving is in business class, basically. And
Pretty much.
and that's why, yeah, we're interested a little bit in this because we two bastards do have drivers, and this is really ugly on the outside. I just can't get myself to love those things. But yeah, once you're inside, then it makes total sense.
Yeah.
You have tablets, you have everything you need basically to actually be working. And again, congestion being a real big component of our day-to-day commuting. At the end of the day, yeah, this makes us a bit more efficient, I guess.
It does. The amount of work that I do in my car. I mean, I don't have like an Alphard, which this is based off a Toyota Alphard, but
Yeah, well, that's yeah, that's what it is.
like I get driven around in a Fortuner, and I work in a,
Pull up a picture of a Fortuner,
if I
because
can
not everybody might know what it is.
I will. Give me a second. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's the second I'm out the door, I'm working. So it's like for me, having a driver is so great. And it sounds like this insane luxury for anyone that lives outside of Asia. But
But driving is so crazy as well. I mean, come on, with all
yeah,
the motorcycles and stuff, we don't want to be, we don't want to risk actually just, misreading a situation and maybe hurt someone by driving ourselves. So when I
yeah,
drive my cars, I usually drive them very early in the morning when there's absolutely no one on the streets. Yeah,
hmm,
at 5, 6 a.m.
yeah. So this is basically exactly what I've got, a TRD Fortuner. But the first thing, it's
Boring.
huh? You what, mate? But man, like, like you need it here. Like
Yeah, the roads also, I must say, yeah.
it's horrendous. It really is
Yeah.
horrendous. Like, trying to get to work through that traffic, the amount of times, I mean, you've even been there sometimes where I've had to take a meeting from the car and it's just like, yeah, I'm just stuck. I'm in the car. Sorry.
I do this all the time. I mean, the difference with you is that, okay, I use the car also during the day because, visiting customers and things like this. But I must say that the time to commute, for me, home to office is actually not that bad, despite, traffic and all of that. So usually for me, this time is my time to synthesize. So this is where I listen to music. I try not to be just, on, let's say, work email or work stuff, because I need that time also for me to
Yeah.
synthesize things. And
Yeah.
maybe, read the news. There's that thing that I really recommend you check out, is that Quartz daily brief.
Hmm.
It's something I've been using since my MBA time
Yeah.
a few years back. But anyway, it's pretty good because it's a digest of news around the world and interesting stuff. And
Yeah.
I actually subscribe to the thing, and the articles they have are really interesting.
Hmm.
So yeah, Quartz Daily Brief. Is really something I recommend to everyone, because you need that time. You need to take that time away from the family stuff, the work stuff. Just to.
Yeah. But I
How's your
mean,
family life at the moment, by the way?
family life, I live alone, so it's great. I wake up, I'll play video games for 10 hours. It's all good.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, going back to this thing, I remember I mean, this is old news as far as the car world is concerned, but it's only just been released here in Indonesia.
I actually don't think. Well, yeah, okay. In Thailand, it doesn't exist yet.
Mm,
I haven't seen it yet. But they actually have that, as you mentioned, the Toyota Alphard, right?
mm,
And they actually change it here. So they basically kind of import, the basic one,
mm,
and then they swap everything for.
yeah.
But those are insanely expensive. I think the Alphard is anywhere between 3.9 to 4.5 million baht,
Mm,
which is about 120 to 150, I would say, $1,000 USD.
yeah. I
Which
mean,
is, like, come on, guys, come
I mean,
on.
but I think that's got a lot to do with your tax, because I mean,
For a
from
Fiat Abarth, yes, but not for
yeah,
this.
for me, like, I mean, the Alphard is about 1 billion rupiah,
Yeah.
which is about 75,000 USD, something like that.
Yeah, and it sounds. I mean, you go in Japan, those things are about 50 to 60K.
Yeah, yeah,
The Toyota version, I don't know about the Lexus version, but again, I don't know if the Lexus version is in every country, or I don't know what their strategy is there. So, um,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I looked at it and was just like, oh, that's quite cool that Lexus did that. I mean, anyone that lives in like Western countries just wouldn't understand. They just don't get it. I mean, a lot of
Yeah,
people go, what a luxury to be driven around in, but I mean, here it's pretty normal. Most
it's
families will have a
it's the new
driver.
normal for us guys.
Yeah. So it is actually pretty normal. The thing that I didn't realize is looking at this photo, you know that the red at the back of this car, that's a light beam that goes across the whole rear of the car.
Porsche style.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, the owners of our building at the office, the one of them got this recently in white. I don't think white's the best color, but they've got a number of Lexuses in white and black. But I don't know. The front's pretty unusual. Like it's unusual for a Lexus overall. But then when you look at the photos of the interior, I mean, seriously, man, like
It's all about the interior. That's what it is. I
yeah,
mean, yeah. The thing is, that's why you have the black windows as well. You don't want to be seen inside one, but you know,
yeah. I
it's
mean,
a
even
pretty cozy place to be.
I mean, even for me, I have my windows are so tinted out, you can't see into it. You can't see into my car.
Yeah, the my car. So my latest acquisition. Yeah, I just went with 40%. I just can't stand it. Those very dark
Mm,
ones. I feel like in a coffin.
yeah.
Well, especially since yeah, most of my cars are black. So black. It's black on black. It's really, yeah, not so very nice.
Is it black? I thought it was blue.
Which one?
The
No,
7 Series.
it's black.
Okay.
Um, it's black, and yeah, it's a wonderful car. Wonderful car. So cozy, so comfortable. It's actually got some punch as well. It's a 740, right? So
Mm,
it's got punch as well. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. Love it.
yeah. Fuck you. For those wondering, Julian and I are constantly playing catch up with each other.
Yeah, well, you've got a few. Have you sold your Skoda?
My Skoda was destroyed.
Yeah, you've destroyed it. Okay, so
Yeah. You
so
know,
you're 3 cars down. Wait, no, I've got 5. I've got 5 cars.
yeah. But you know what's funny about that, right? Only this week, everything was finally settled with it. So,
Remind me.
so remember, like I'd moved and it was for sale in Australia,
Yeah,
and it was it was
nobody
on.
wanted it.
Well, it was like it was. Well, we were getting inquiries, so it was on the way for somebody to go and see it, and a truck just totaled it, just destroyed it completely, like unrepairable damage. And it's only last week, so this is going back last June or something, or July.
Sell it for parts. Get the engine back or the
Oh,
transmission or something like
it's written off, scrapped. But the funny thing about the whole thing is, it was written off and everything, and then for some reason, the company that it was financed through was still charging me, and I didn't realize until like 6 months later, and I'm like, why am I being charged for this? The car was written off, you know. So they're like, oh, okay. So I had to go through all this annoying process. So finally, they gave me my money back, which was nice because it's like I couldn't. But there's certain things you think that get done. Car's written off, everything gets sorted out, but it didn't end up happening. It's like I had to chase it up myself. I'm like, maybe I'm an idiot and I don't know how to do this, but to me, it just seemed really
But
unusual.
it's really complicated. Sorry, to do this remotely as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm actually up here. I mean, up yours many times over because I also owned an Alfa Romeo
Hmm.
in my life, and according to Jeremy Clarkson, every gearhead needs to own one at some stage in their life. So the 147 2-liter twin spark manual transmission, of course.
But you just, well, at least you can say to own it because I don't know, they're not exactly the most exciting car, are they?
Um, they're fun. They're fun.
Okay.
They're not the most exciting car, I agree, but they're fun. They're a bit funky, like the interior and all of that. And surprisingly, I mean, I had it for a year and a half. I probably put like 15,000 kilometers on it, not more than this, but had no issue whatsoever with it. It just was working perfectly.
Which is completely not what you expect from an Alpha.
Yeah, I mean, I was living in Marseille at that time. It was close to home.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess it wasn't complaining too much. But no, a really great car to own. The interior, is fun. The way it's designed, it actually doesn't age that much. Um, no, I really like that car actually, I must say, and it was fun. Like when you rev it a little bit, it was quite a fun car to drive.
Hmm.
My ultimate fun car to drive, and again, I haven't driven that many cars, and let alone supercars or things like this. But really, the most fun I've had in a car, I would say, my top three at the moment are still the Fiat 500 Abarth,
Hmm.
the SS, like the top version,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
most powerful one, because I had just so much fun with it. And in 15 minutes, got 8 points removed by my license from my driving license, and, and about 500 euros in fines in Bordeaux in France. But got away actually quite clean in the end. Only paid 200 and only had like 4 points removed.
Hmm.
Um,
Was the police officer's wife happy after you slept with her, or?
yeah, that's I got my ways. But no, it was no, just discussing, just saying, yeah, I was an idiot and I realized this, and thank you for making me noticing this,
Hmm.
and just discussed, and you know told him I'm living outside France and blah blah blah. Anyway,
Yeah.
all of this helped. So that's the first one, the Fiat 500 Abarth.
That's
The second
still
one,
that's still the only car I miss. Out of all the cars I've
yeah,
owned, the Abarth is still the one I go.
mommy, I'm just drinking water. You see?
It's the only car I go. Man, I miss that car. That was so fun. And
Yeah.
the funniest thing I heard recently is, have you listened to that Sniff and Smith podcast?
No,
You know,
I don't
John.
know what.
Okay, so Richard Porter, who was a rider on Top Gear and the Grand Tour, and he's a novelist and whatnot. You know the Sniff Petrol guy. Okay, so him and Johnny Smith, who's Car Pervert, they've got a podcast, right? And I was listening. They were talking about the R bath, and I think it was Johnny goes, or otherwise known as the 500 for blokes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
just like, this is a perfect description of it.
It is so true.
I wouldn't drive a 500, but yeah, I'll drive an R bath.
Yeah, definitely. No, that car is just magical in the way, and it comes back to, I think, a lot of those journalists, they say that as well. It's just that those cars you can enjoy at 50 kilometers per hour. The Porsches and all of that, they're beautiful cars, beautifully engineered. You can do a lot of things with them, but at the end of the day, just give me something light, something that loves to rev,
Mm,
something with attitude, and I'm just that's it. The second one is actually a very weird one, that probably nobody even heard about unless you live in France or something. Is the Renault Clio TCE 100, um, which is it's a small engine as well. It's got a turbo on it, and it's just that old feeling of the turbo that comes in.
mm.
I was big on. So again, so sorry to reference France all the time, but that's what I know, right? When you reach the age of 14 in France, you can drive a moped, 50 cc, actually 49.9 cc, um,
What the
li- limited to 45 kilometers an hour. Um, and once you reach the age of 14, basically anybody can do it. You do have a small test to do nowadays, but it's not. And at the time I was able to do this, there were no plate numbers on those as well, which is an interesting point. So now you have a plate number on them, but so at that time everybody would have one, and the fun of it was kitting it.
Mm.
And the thing is, with a two-stroke engine, it's like VTEC or it's like a turbo. Once you reach a certain RPM, it just goes a bit more. And
Mm.
that's why I love the turbo, and that's why I love that experience with that Clio, because I was like, oh, please give me the next roundabout. Just throw the car, just keep it in the revs, keep it on the turbo, and just enjoy that kick, you know?
Mm.
And so that's what leads me to the number 3 car, which is my RX-7. It's not perfect yet because the seating position is not so good, because the previous owner put some ridiculous bride, racing seats in them, which means I'm sitting a little bit, you're not in line with the pedals, so you're
Yeah.
just a little bit like this. But the turbo is just something insane. The kick that you get is just so much fun.
Yeah. How long have you had that car now? Because I mean, seriously, the amount of times I've gone to Thailand and it's like, all right, we're gonna go out for a drive, and then we get in the car and it's like, but one time it was like the battery was dead, and then the other time was, oh, the clutch is on the floor, and then when you first got it as well, I'm like, I'm gonna take a seat in the driver's seat, and I
Which
got in and
proves it
I'm like,
proves
oh,
it proves the internet wrong. The
well,
engine is very reliable. Of all the problems you just mentioned, rotary engine is not a problem.
yeah, so
No,
far,
it's spent quite a long time in the garage. It's all sorted now. It's
yeah.
a sorted car. So the clutch has been changed. There was a problem with the downpipe also that was not actually not to size. So there was a major. Actually, it's not the downpipe. It's the
Are you gone? I think we've just lost Julian. That's annoying. Fun times. Fun times waiting for technology to work.
yeah.
There we go.
I'm back, mother lovers.
We do love the MILFs.
My specialty.
Last thing I heard was problem with downpipe. So downpipe not fitting or something.
Are we still talking about MILFs?
Yeah, see the problem was her downpipe wasn't big enough to accommodate my member.
No, so it was not. It was the headers actually. So it was not. Sorry, actually, okay. What happened is that it was not an internet. Internet did not drop. It was the whole power grid that went out. Welcome to Bangkok.
Yeah, welcome to
um,
Asia.
so yeah, so that was the problem. I had a huge boost leak actually.
Oh.
So it's working much better. So yeah, that was a problem. As I mentioned, the clutch, suspension has been redone, brakes, and the exterior as well. I hope to show a couple of pictures next time. But yeah, it looks a bit more stock than it used to be. Remember, it had this horrible body kit.
It was Boy Racer before. Like 90s
Yeah,
Boy Racer with like the I ate too much chocolate body kits. The ones with well, I mean it was your car, but the ones that sort of flare out at the bottom that look
yeah.
horrendously shit.
Yes, exactly. So I just really didn't like it. Also, that the fart can sort of exhaust
Mm.
that I didn't like as well. So yeah, it looks a bit more like. I mean, I love that car for its lines and its design, and yeah, it's now a bit more faithful to the original when it comes to this. So the wings are not is not as crazy. The body kit is not as crazy. Actually, it's and a lot of people were asking me, why did you go with the version 1 and not the updated one version of the front bumper, with the lights and everything. And I like the older one because it reminds me of the MX-5, the MK1. It's not called the MK1. People are gonna kill me for this, but whatever. You remember that the fascia of it, like those lights. Actually, yeah, it looks a bit older, and I like that style. And the other thing also is that it gives me a lot of ground clearance. So yeah,
Yeah,
in
which
in
which in Asia is a fucking problem, man.
yeah, so
But
that I mean, just entering the garage is a problem because they have like steep slopes, like
mm,
crazy. So yeah, that actually is that double advantage for me. And I like this older look actually.
yeah,
Maybe you can try to look it up online. You know, like the different faces. Like how do you call it? I don't remember. Anyway,
anyway. Let's see.
you'll see it when you see it. So yeah, that white one has the new. You know, that's those headlight. I mean, not the pop-up headlights, but the ones below. I don't know how you call them. And mine look more like the one on the bottom right of that white one as well. So you know the smaller lights.
This one?
So that's the new one. That's the newer looking one. And on the body kit that I had initially, the ugly body kit, we had those lights on.
Hmm.
And yeah, the just to find the other one, that there was another white one, I think, with the smaller.
Um, which one?
The one on the bottom right. Yeah, the white one as well.
This one?
On the bottom right. Yeah, this one. So yeah, it looks a bit more like this now.
With a more original body kit. So it's got the slimmer lights.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, the slimmer lights are basically before the Spirit R and all of those, right? Like
Hmm.
it's the more, yeah, the older style, let's say.
Hmm.
And I actually quite like that older style myself. Again, it's coming back in fashion actually.
Yeah.
And when you look at all the builds, you know, I like to watch. Actually, I like to rewatch now Mighty Car Mods. I left Mighty Car Mods for a while, but their latest series on the Subarus, yeah, is quite nice. So anyway, just long story short, it's black over gold. So the wheels are gold. The roll cage inside is gold. Um, and yeah, a lot of people are like saying, it's a Batman car. It looks a bit tacky and everything. And actually, I'm sorry, but when you look all around, those gold wheels, they're coming back in style.
I love gold wheels, man. I think they're
Yeah.
awesome.
So
And the
yeah.
bronze as well. I love bronze wheels on
Oh
cars.
yes, it looks fantastic. Yeah.
So this car is for sale here in Indonesia.
Oh, is it? So do
Six
you want to try to catch up then?
699 million IDR. So it's about 70,000 Australian dollars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's so special about it? Is that like a?
Well, the thing that's so special about this particular one is somebody um, hit it with an ugly stick. So, if you look at these wheels, WTF? You look at these lights.
Yeah, the lights are just ugly as, right? I mean,
Uh,
why would you a pop-up headlight car? Seriously, why would
like
you do that to it?
it makes me think they were drunk when they were modifying the car.
Maybe they
And
had
then
too much flavored water.
and then I look at the interior and go, that's not too bad, except literally everything is missing, like the air vents and the audio and air
No, really,
conditioning. Yeah, like there's nothing here, man.
we can't really see. I mean, it's very, very small, like when the
Yeah.
way it appears on the screen. But okay.
I'm just like, well, $70,000 for essentially a shell, and I have no idea what state the engine is in. But I'm an idiot, and I would do something like buy that, and then
No, but remember, the only reason why I went to buy the RX-7 is because we met that guy. Remember that one time you visited Thailand and we went to see that JICA.
yeah,
So I think his Facebook, yeah, is JICA. Anyway, the guy is a genius with rotaries.
yeah,
So
we had a look
that's
at
the
that.
reason why. And, and
Yeah.
and the thing is, when I went to see that car in a garage, I actually called him up and you know, showed him some pictures of the car, and the guy said, "Yeah, I'm the one who built the engine." So I was like,
Hmm.
"Okay, cool." Yeah, a few things to revise as well from that other shop where I brought it. They kept it very, very long, but they did a really good job, I must say. And that that shop is called Evo Shop Thailand. They actually specialize in Evos, but um, they also do RX-7s from time to time. They also like those
Yeah.
cars, and seriously, they did a fantastic job.
Mm.
Fantastic job. It doesn't overheat anymore. It's driving quite okay. The clutch, yeah, it's a twin clutch, so it has a bit of chatter, and yeah, it's a bit harder than a normal clutch or the clutch on my E28. But it's really fun, and it's drivable, really drivable now. The brakes also, they upgraded the brakes. Oh yeah, that was it. So
That was it.
you can see the BMW behind. That's the E28. So that's fine. And that's yeah, my RX-7. So black wheels. I kept the same wheels, just had them painted white. Sorry, gold.
Yeah.
Ooh, the flavored water is mighty effects.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, it's great. I mean, I'm actually, really looking forward to actually just being able to get in the car and go for a drive because I mean, the amount of times I've come over with the full intention of let's do car shit with the cars.
Well,
And
every time you've come over, something went to shit, and
yeah,
we could not use any of the cars.
I remember last time the BMW, something fell off it.
Well,
The
something
the
fell off it. Okay, it was very, very, very low. So the shop that actually did the engine swap, because it's actually a 2003 528 drivetrain on that car, right?
mm,
And the car was sitting very low because I like cars. I like the nice stance. Not necessarily stanced cars, but a nice stance is important to me.
mm,
And I came back from this, but yeah. So they put that protection, like kind of plate underneath the engine just to protect it from it, and that's what fell off. Because I was hitting all the time. I was hitting something, and a couple of the nuts actually got just shaved off from driving too far and blah blah blah. I still have that picture as well. Yeah.
yeah, I got plenty, man.
I mean, this is as good as they are in Thailand. I mean, it doesn't look out of place. That engine in that car, it just fits. It's really really nice. But yeah, since then it's been raised a little bit, but still the same car. Raised a little bit to avoid hitting everything. And then yeah, I put a sound system in it as well.
Mm. Oh, so it's
Nothing's crazy. Just just something standard. There's still a boom box because I like the bass, but nothing overpowered.
yeah,
Just,
90s,
just sensible,
full
nice. Yeah.
90s style.
It's good. It's a great car. I use it every week. Well, the both of them actually, I use them every week. On the weekends usually. Or yeah, early morning or late at night also sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I drove it once. I mean, granted, all I did was drive from the coffee shop to the shopping center, but it's really
Because
easy
that's
to
all
drive.
they would allow. I mean, I remember your Skoda story. You drive so bad that you don't even have to be in the car for it to be totaled.
Hey, it's all learning, right? No, but it was really easy to drive. I like that, But I mean, then there's also the
Yeah,
idea of
you're right. It's so easy to drive. I mean, it's. I feel. I mean, it's BMW manual gearbox from 2003 that you can expect. That is just the whole thing, yeah.
Mm,
And yeah, a bit noisy, clutch and everything, but it gets around.
yeah. Ah, it's a good car.
It's
I've
not
got
fast. It's a bit louder than it is fast, but
I've got I've got like all this footage and stuff that I'll start to upload from when I was there last time, which is actually a while ago now.
yeah,
But
you need to try it again because this got the LSD now.
yeah, but there's also the idea of we're also looking for a car to build.
Ah, that's
You
a
know,
nice transition. I'm gonna stay online, but I'm out of ice. So my flavored water is going to lose its taste. So I'll be back.
okay.
You can put something on my screen while I go away.
I don't know. I'll leave it like that. But
You leave it. Okay, you
all
can have
right.
a look at my screen. Do you want some porn or something?
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great. I mean, YouTube would absolutely love that.
Yeah,
We,
probably not.
we we have aspirations of just making fun content because we like just doing car stuff, and
Did you? No, no pun, no aspiration, no pun intended. Yeah.
we have
Hold on a second. Forced induction as well, no pun intended.
Yes.
I can hear you. I'm not on camera, but I can still hear you, and I can
that's
still
cool.
hear you.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, like we want to buy an EG Civic and build it up, and
okay, so much for the suspense, guys.
Yeah. Well, what? So what? We let's get to the point, man. Like,
you're right.
I really want to build this car.
Actually, I mean, like, there's like apparently there's so much suspense about so many guys on YouTube. What is the next car they're gonna get? Is that gonna be the car? Is that the car? And there's this guy, Life of Palos, who actually I think is doing real service to the community by watching basically all the channels and checking what the updates are. And I think Life of Palos, it's a YouTube channel, which is it's quite nice. I mean, a lot of it is very nice, but I mean the guy is overselling it every time. It's like, oh guys, I've got this really nice thing and this really nice episode, and did this happen or did this happen? And it's really like making it bigger than what it is. But at the same time, I think his channel is quite nice. Like sometimes we don't have time to watch all of what's happening on YouTube, and he helps basically select those channels or videos that we need to watch. So
yeah, but I mean, like this thing, like why are we doing this? Because originally we were going crazy. We were like, do we buy a Silvia? Do we buy? I don't know. We just wanted to build a car to hit the track with, and we've settled on a Civic because of support. It's as simple as that. Big community support. Parts are easy. We're not going to struggle to find somebody that's going to be able to fix it. I mean,
don't make it complicated. Basically, at the end of the day, especially again when living away from home, and as long as you're not living in the in the US where cars are dirt cheap and you can do anything. I mean, imagine the collection of cars we would have if we were living in the US.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
driving a Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even about money. It's at this stage, it's about what can we get, and
yeah, that's the second thing. Yeah,
it's a bit like let's drive it to break it sort of thing. And like, I'm really inspired by this one. I've pulled it up now. That Pandem EG, it's Blue Pandem EG6 on Instagram.
Oh, yes, give me the Pandem.
You can see the guy started.
I thought we said no porn.
Well, we can see the guy started with an utter hunk of shit, and then it's just been turned into like, I mean, it's subjective, but to me, it's like it's almost a work of art compared to what it was. It was like,
let's not get there, man. But no, I mean, seriously, the guy. I mean, you can see the work that's into it, the love that's into it, the care. That's just. I mean, to me, this is what differentiates us. To be able to see this differentiates us from somebody who uses a car to just commute.
Yeah.
And that's why we love cars, right? Because there's all that love, care that was put into it, and I just admire this. And the guy, yes, did a fantastic job. It's an amazing car.
Like every aspect,
a work of art.
Yeah, I know. Like you said, it's subjective, but I mean,
just don't know. I mean, okay, as much as I would say, a 250 GTO is a work of art. Some of those cars out there from the manufacturers are a work of art. This is built, so I'm not too sure if we can call it a work of art. I don't know. We'd have to try to think about what the real definition should be, but this is definitely a beautiful car.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. It's love. The guy loved this project, and he's turned it into something that he's really proud of. And to me, I mean, we're not people that don't know anything about cars, but this is pretty inspirational to me. Especially like I only just saw this photo for the first time, but this one, like, it's a hunk of shit, and then he's just turned it into that. I mean, it's just,
But that's a little bit what we were thinking of doing, right? I mean, there are some for sale in Thailand that are just yeah. I mean, they're still much more expensive than what you would find, because a crap one like this in Thailand is still going to cost you about what 3,000 USD, two to
Yeah.
3,000 USD. I mean, this probably in the US you get this for 500 USD, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Something like this. And it's just and then it's the access to the spare parts, as you were saying, where all of those things are going to be more expensive. Where we are a bit better in Thailand is actually on the labor side of things. So I mean, unless you can do it yourself, I guess, which a lot of channel are advertising. As much as I want to, I don't have the time to.
Yeah.
And I don't have the expertise. And when I say the time is even to build the expertise, the knowledge, and all of that to be doing those things. I don't. Yeah, it's not something that I have time for at the moment. Because I am planning on that house.
Where
I'm going to have the
house on
leash and
hill.
all of that, and I'll be able to wrench on my cars like Tavares advocates for everybody.
I like Tavares' setup. I think
The garage, you mean, or
yeah, it's a shed. It's just a really big shed. I think it's cool.
Can we call it a shed if there's air conditioning in it?
Is it? I didn't realize he put air conditioning in. I thought
he just did. He just did recently, actually. He really did recently. So, yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, what he's achieved is unbelievable. It's and I really like the guy, because he's like, I mean, at least he seems very open and honest, and not complicated. I like that.
Yeah.
But I would say the channel is now taking a direction where, and you can see this from most of the different channels. It's like, how can I innovate and just go into somewhere where no one has gone before? So it's like trying to build up. So I think like we've seen, okay, guys have taken on Lamborghinis quite a lot. And then Ferraris, the Goon Squad, for example, have taken on Ferraris. Sam Crack also with his 360, and Rasta Rosa. It's probably the best one with Ferraris.
Yeah.
It's
what is it?
It's
metal
Rasta
or
Rosa.
Yeah.
I call it. I always think it's Rasta Rosa, but yeah. I mean, in Incredible, those guys, they do like things incredible. It's just like trying to do like above the other. I quite like the Goon Squad because they went Ferrari, but now they're back with other projects that are not as completely batshit crazy. Trying to one up all the other channels, because I mean, what's next? I mean, like now it's a 720S. Is that the latest one from Tavares? Or 670? I don't remember. I don't even remember which one it is. But the thing is, what's next? Okay, a Veyron, and then or a P1, an F1. I mean, what's next? Where do we go next?
It's all a bit the same-ish, really, isn't it? Like, I mean, for me, fundamentally, I go, yeah, I really enjoy the car content, but there is a bit of like, competition on trying to keep eyeballs on their channels with something new.
And it's the hardest thing to do, and blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you look at people like you and me, and it's like, do we really have all this fucking time to ingest all their data and go really deep into their community? And the answer is no. I mean, fundamentally, we will watch a video here and there and say, yeah, that was cool. Or if we're going deep into something like, well, how do I change the shocks in my suspension setup or something like that, you might go to a super techie channel, or you might go watch Mighty Car Mods and go, yeah, that's enough for me. I'll go take it on.
And Mighty Car Mods is great for this, because they've I think they went a bit away from this, but then in a way, I don't know, it was just like the episodes were not as interesting to me, and now it's back to what I liked originally, and just the quality of it. The quality of their videos is unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really good. But I mean, I think their stuff is actually like on TV now. So I mean, well done for them. I mean, it's great.
I mean, again,
I think it's really good to see. Like the what's his name, Moog or whatever he calls himself. He's actually
Oh,
a composer, you know.
yeah.
And
That's why the music is great also during those videos.
yeah,
He's
so,
we can really see his artistic side
yeah,
and the techie side
yeah,
of the other guy. The name
Marty.
it's Mugen Marty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also great guy. I mean, like the explanations he gives, like the it's all it's such a well put together channel story, quality music, all of it, fits really well together.
Well, to me, that's what actually makes them more interesting is the fact that there is, like we were saying, there is the passion, and I think for Mighty Car Mods, it really is two mates, showing
Yeah,
their passion for cars, and you can
yeah.
see that come through. Whereas I think if you look at some of the other ones, you just sort of go, it's an act, and it's like I don't discount. I don't think that they're not. I don't think that they're not passionate about cars, but I see it as more of an act from them. And
Yeah, you're are you referring to that Car Trek? Have you watched that?
no, I don't know it. No.
It's Huey's Garage, Tavares and Ed Bolian from WinWiki,
Hmm.
and they did this like video series
Yeah.
called Car Trek that I recommend you watch actually, because it's quite fun. They did it very much in the Top Gear style.
Hmm.
Obviously, you can see that there is, kind of a relationship that they have, and they're good friends and they love cars. But I would say the first episode was nice in the sense that it felt very natural. The other ones feel a bit more acted, exactly like you said, right? So,
Yeah.
but I still want to I still want to see season two. I mean, when you look at the legends in that field, which are Top Gear, the guys from Top Gear, it still took them a few seasons before they got their act really right.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, it was. There's also the fact that they then let their personalities come out because I mean, all of them come from very structured, organized media backgrounds,
Yeah,
and then
but
eventually they got
yeah,
to the popularity where it was like, well, fuck you all, we're doing what we want.
yeah, and that again, I think it was in a podcast with I think it was Matt Farah also saying, those guys, you know, it's the BBC, right? The
Hmm.
big the yeah the channel in in the UK, right?
The UK TV station with a
Yeah,
porn
and
category.
like they kind of they kind of yeah, dedicated to their name,
Yeah.
but yeah, they kind of gave those guys money, and there was the car show that they did, and they were able to do that without much scrutiny at the
Hmm.
time until they actually exploded because they actually found exactly what the public wanted to watch, which is not only car things,
Yeah,
people.
and
It's not only gearheads that actually were watching this,
yeah.
it was for gearheads by gearheads, but actually, yeah, it was just reaching a much broader audience than just
Hmm.
car people, and I think a lot of the time also we kind of discount. We're talking about the chemistry about the three guys that were
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
TV,
Yeah.
but I think it's also very much with the production behind. The
Yeah.
writers, the way it was filmed, all the creators behind. So
Hmm.
it's the whole crew actually, which is a much more impressive feat than just saying, "Oh, guys, they got along and then it started to work."
Yeah.
Actually, everybody stepped up, the whole team stepped up, and I don't know how many people that is, but it's probably 200-300 people at the very least.
Hmm.
Somehow involved with that production, and yeah, just unbelievable. I mean, I still have those. Actually, no, but yeah, somewhere on my computer is all the seasons.
Yeah, yeah, I've got them as well. I watch them regularly. They bring me great joy. And the great thing, even yesterday, I was watching like season 14 funny bits clips. It's just great.
It's just funny. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
I mean, they're all up on YouTube.
Mm.
So yeah, they're just really really good. Yeah, there's some really good bits. I mean, Jeremy Clarkson with the Ariel Atom. you know, it's it will break your face. And he opens his mouth. It's just unbelievable. Um, So yeah, they've got those really kind of yeah, historical moments, I would say, for people who love cars. But again, they were able to reach, a much broader audience.
Yeah.
That's why
And
we're going to be talking about cars and shit. Because the other thing that I want to talk about is, and where I'd like some advice is car sim. Because
yeah.
I'm actually calling, this is the game room. So we have a game room in my home, and so yeah, you can see the drum. That's for my son. The TV behind is where we play, the Zeldas and blah blah blah. But I'd like to get a setup with, a force feedback wheel. Again, something that's available in Thailand, and apparently in Thailand, Thrustmaster is the only one available right now.
Yeah.
Computers are insanely expensive as well. But what's really the setup that I want is exactly what you're putting up on screen right now. I want VR. And is VR really ready? Because I mean, to be honest, the only VR I've tried is the one on the PS4 with
Yeah,
Gran
but
Turismo, and then it's
PlayStation
disappointing. I mean, it's not enough yet. It's not there yet. It's
Play,
nice. It's very nice, but yeah.
PlayStation abandoned it because they just couldn't get it right.
Okay.
So I would just not even worry about that. But man, I've been looking into it as well. So I told you I bought a gaming PC this week. I mean, it's not going to arrive here for another 4 weeks, but I got one of those ROG G14s, the Asus ROG G14.
Oh, so you
So
went for the pre-built style. I was thinking of building one myself.
yeah, well, so was I, but I'm a little bit about that backpack life at the moment. If I can't fit my setup in a backpack, I don't need it, kind of thing. So this thing's great. I mean, it's got a Ryzen 9 in it, processor, and a 2060 graphics card, which it's pretty damn good.
But for
Um,
car sims, it's probably overkill as well, yeah. But what about VR with car
well,
sim?
see, I'm looking here now, and I need to do some investigation because some of this VR gear is hellishly expensive as well. So, but I mean, I'm looking here, like for an Oculus, I don't know. I need to actually look at the headsets themselves. But I mean, a hardcore VR build needs a 10600K i5 and a 2070 Super, and that's hardcore VR. And for me, I'm running a Ryzen 9, which is much better than that, and an
Yeah,
RTX 2060.
which is just under this. Do you have the Titan or the 2080 as well that you could go for?
Well, yeah, there's one here, i9 10900 with a 2080 Super.
Yeah, but they're still going Intel, which actually the thing is, when you look at the VR car sims, what I've learned is that you're looking at single core because they're not multi-core. So you're going for the highest clock speed. And
Yeah,
Intel is still better, apparently. But again, don't
yeah,
criticize me. But
it
yeah.
is. It is actually. Yeah, it is better. See, that's the thing. I run all my music stuff through a MacBook Pro. Um,
Oh, that's why it sounds so shit then.
using the headset, you dick. But what is it? It's running a i9 in it, and the reason why I got the i9 is because audio is all based off single core. Like it's not doing it's doing multi-threaded shit. Like because you might have I might have my drums on one
I
core
was a
and
bit sick the other day. I did multi-threaded shit as well.
but that's the same thing for VR, and a lot of these, even like a lot of the i7 laptops and stuff like that, they're still 4 cores, 8 threads, but they got high core count, like high clock speed. So
Huh?
I mean, you can get away with a lot these days, and especially on these like Ryzen processors. I think you can get away with like a shitload with not a lot, and everyone sits there and says, "Oh, I need 4K gaming," and it's like, no, you don't. You don't need 4K gaming at all. You don't realize how expensive that is. Because the other thing is as well, it's like, yeah, I want 4K gaming. Do you have a
But I don't
4?
have the screen.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you might have a 4K screen, but is it 140 hertz or is it
And that's the
300?
problem there.
It's like
Yeah.
like people don't really know that,
That's why I've been religiously watching like the Linus Tech Tip. I mean,
yeah.
there's one channel that I found that I quite like when it comes to those stuff. And yeah, I mean, I'm still not sure what to do because at the end of the day, you know, that's a TV screen behind me.
Mm,
It's more than enough to play the small games, to play the Switch, and you know what? Even the Xbox One X is, you know, it's more than enough to play those stuff. But and actually, that brings me to one of the games I just bought for the Xbox One X. But
mm.
anyway, um, I'd like to run VR. I want to race and have, you know, that the wheel, the gear, I mean the gear stick, and you know, all of those things basically have a proper nice setup. Um, and I'd like it to be in VR. I think this is where it should go, right, for racing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think I used to have a setup back in Australia. It wasn't a super high end one, but I had it crossed between PC and Xbox. It was one of those ones that I could move around, and it was fucking great, man. It was so good. But the thing was, like, I had a friend that was watching me play one time and said, "You actually like lean in and look around corners while you're playing, but the screen is static." And
Yeah.
it's like because I'm immersed in the game, but you can imagine what it would be like if I had VR.
Well, this, you know, this is really where I'd like to be able to make a difference. Because again, we live in countries where we can actually produce things,
Yeah, yeah,
and finding a project, and I've been trying to think also about, you know, how to find and reproduce all those movements.
hmm,
Uh, I think yeah, we could make a difference there, in
hmm,
our countries where we could produce a lot of the parts for cheaper,
yeah,
so that it would be more affordable to everybody who wants to have the 3D sim racing.
hmm,
Because yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, that those um, and I haven't tried the direct drives because apparently it's a completely different story. But you know, those force feedback wheels is one way of immersing yourself.
yeah.
For me, the other step, so other than going direct drive, yes, Fanatec has one, but in Thailand it's impossible to get. Um, the next step is VR actually, before even you getting into the, you know, the actual 3D movement inducing thingies.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, I really want a VR headset, and I think the current rig I've got on order will be able to handle it.
Yeah, but is it going to be a good enough experience with car games
Well,
at the moment?
if I have a steering wheel and everything, then sure. But
No, no, but I mean, it's not. Again, you know, like I tried the one from the PS4. Okay, then you just said that, yeah, they basically abandoned it. But the thing is, it's like frames. I was back like 20 years ago, the very first games, you know, playing Command Force or something like this, you know, or Force Commander, whatever that game was. But it's like wires, you know.
mm,
It's not good enough.
yeah.
So the thing is, are we at that level, hardware and software side, to actually give an experience that is worth it? Or should I
Well,
wait a little more and just play on the screen for the time being until VR gets there?
I would say, we haven't done enough research because I mean, I've looked
I
into it.
haven't done it. Yeah, I haven't. I've done very little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we might actually be having this conversation, and somebody's watching this going, "Are these guys like 100 years old and they don't know that everything is wireless?" And you know what I mean? So
Yes, I am. I've got wide air.
yeah, so
You know,
it.
one of the first my first phone that I had was, you know, I had to stay close to an antenna to get reception.
Yeah, but I think
I had a
as
beeper, motherfuckers. So
yeah,
come on. I'm old. Yes, I am. So yeah, I'm probably not up to date.
but we
But
might.
that's kind of why I'm talking about this now, you know, like maybe to get some suggestions.
Yeah, I mean, like fast forward to a year's time, we might be actually streaming our VR gameplay. It's
We might be streaming in VR,
yeah,
ourselves in VR.
maybe.
And then it's going to get interesting, ladies.
Definitely. You have to get like they'll have to get the rumble strip. and sit on the rumble strip.
The ass kicker.
The ass kicker.
Have you seen that product?
Yeah. They actually use it in music.
Yeah, it's in music, and it originally comes from music, but
Yeah,
then
yeah.
they started using it in
Yeah, it's
race rigs.
for drummers live, because when they're playing acoustic instruments live, they can't actually, like in a small room, they feel the bass drum.
Oh.
But when they're live, they don't really feel it because there's so much air. So they've got that ass kicker or whatever it is in the drum stool, and it actually sends haptic feedback through the stool.
I love the haptic.
Mm.
It's a beautiful landscape.
Yeah. All right, man. I think we might call it there for our first episode. What do you think?
Is that because I just made a bad joke?
No, dad jokes is what you do. It's like
Yeah, I'll take care of the joke. You take care of the technical aspect, please.
yeah, I'll do my best. I think this went okay, short of I mean, I think you really need to complain to the government. I mean, how inconsiderate of them to cut the power while we're in a podcast, right?
Well, last week I must say we had a power like in the whole street actually. Power was out for about 8 hours.
Oh, really?
Because a snake made its way into one of those condenser, whatever it is, those big. Anyway, it went boom because a snake went into it, and nobody had electricity for 8 hours, which is ridiculous. But
Hashtag.
it has to happen. It has to happen on a Sunday, like kind of
Yeah.
when you want to chill out at home.
Yeah. Hashtag Asia problems.
Yeah. Went for a massage.
Yeah. All right, man.
Oh, no, this is a legitimate good one. Foot massage. Thank you very much.
I thought you said the snake went for a massage.
The snake, no. He probably was enjoyed for dinner. It was cooked probably, so.
Yeah, can you imagine
Do we have to stop here or can we continue offline a little bit?
Yeah, we can continue offline. I can end the podcast.
Or can we continue online?
Well, we can actually stay in the room and I'll stop the recording.
Why do you want to stop the recording? You want to test whether that's going to work.
Oh, no, it's still fine. It hasn't crashed or anything, which is nice. That would make me cry if it did. But you never know. I might be running out of hard drive space because these videos take a lot of room.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
so that's why you want to stop.
Oh, I don't know. I just figured, an hour keeps it so we're concise and we're not just waffling. Well,
Are we though?
Well, no, I'm having fun. Fuck everyone else.
I'm having fun too. Exactly.
Yeah.
You tell us in the comments whether we're waffling. If that's a word.
Waffling. It is for me. If it's not for everyone else, I don't care.
It's an Aussie. It's an Aussie word, maybe. So maybe our good friends from Australia might be the only one to understand.
I may not be 1,000 years old, but I certainly act like I am.
Well, yeah, maybe only your mom will understand that.
Yeah.
She's going to be the only one listening in.
Yes.
Actually, she might not even do it.
Mummy, I made a podcast. Can you tell me how great it is
and put it
on the fridge? Yeah. Fuck, man.
Very good water. Mom, this is good water.
I'm dying to drive something. I haven't driven in such a long time.
Really?
Yeah. I've never driven my car.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I've driven mine because come on, a 7 Series. Have to try.
Yeah, of course.
A 740. I have to try a little bit. Try to give it a bit of a of a test.
Yeah, I'll give it a test.
You might stop now because my wife is calling me.
Okay.
Problem.
That might be a good time to call it. All right, everybody. Good show. We'll see you all next time.